All right, guys. So I've been getting some questions from folks on how to explain the Crowder Daily Wire thing. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, DW stands for Daily Wire. So I just thought I would first explain as quickly as I can, because I'm at lunch, explain the issue and what started all of this, and then offer my thoughts. What I think about the whole issue. So Steven Crowder announced, at the end of 2022 that he's leaving the Blaze. He didn't really give any reasons why he's leaving the Blaze. He just said something along the line of, "I can't connect with you," as in his audience. That was his explanation. That was basically it. What that means, I don't really know. I never got any explanation for that. So he's leaving the Blaze. Then, there's the end of the show for 2022, and then he goes silent for about a month. And then as he comes back, I'm wondering what this whole deal was with the Blaze. And again, I'm not sure if the Blaze did something terrible or wrong or whatever, again, no explanation really, just no real explanation. I think if you're going to do something like that, you should provide some more context, because then your audience is wondering. And then it's just the same thing that happens with everything else in the media when our benevolent overlords are not honest with us about what's really going on, with this, that, and the other thing. Conspiracy theories start. Gossip starts. And so I think Crowder, for all his griping about government and everything like that, and not being honest and truthful with his people, kind of did that, with just giving these little tidbits of what seems to be a tension between him and the Blaze, and never gives more information. And then, he says, "Well, I don't want to talk about it here." Well, then don't even mention it. Don't mention anything about it. Don't do that. You might just say, "Well, I'm leaving the Blaze," and that's, whatever, that's fine, but he adds these little things, and he seems to take some shots in his last few episodes of 2022 at the Blaze, it appears. But again, I don't know what the heck that means. What? There's some problem going on? Anyways, so he leaves the Blaze. And then where's Crowder going to end up? He starts a website called Mug Club Forever. And he just asks his supporters to sign up. And so people started signing up in droves, apparently. And then, again, went silent. Just went quiet. Nothing happened. And now he just turned up a couple days ago, out of nowhere. And there was, the Daily Wire, like the day of his announced departure from the Blaze, releases an article about it, back in December. And it seems like the Daily Wire is hoping to pick up Crowder and Mug Club, because it's very obvious. If the Daily Wire can get Mug Club, that is a massive revenue for them. It just is. I don't care if you think whose side you're on. That's a big. Wouldn't you want Crowder's show? Wouldn't you want it? So there you go. I want to make sure I'm a guy, can't multitask. I've got to cross first, and then I'll get back to the conversation. There you go. And so it seems pretty obvious the Daily Wire is talking to Crowder in hopes to pick him up. There's a lot of talk going on that the Daily Wire will pick up Crowder's show. I thought that was kind of weird. I just didn't see Crowder fitting in with the Daily Wire at all. I just think Crowder is just big enough to do his own thing. I don't think he needs to be with the Blaze or any of these people. He started Mug Club, and it holds its own. So me personally, I think, and I guess I'm getting ahead of myself now of my opinion about this whole thing. But Crowder should have just did that and just he declared himself in free agency to basically join a network. And in some ways, that's what started all this, because he puts himself on a free agency. Well, naturally, the Daily Wire is going to call him up like in a heartbeat and be like, "Hey, I hear you're leaving the Blaze. You want to join us?" You know, that kind of stuff like that. And then there goes the negotiations. So negotiations start, and Crowder is not happy with the negotiations. Now, that prompts Crowder to start another website called Stop Big Con. This is where he announces this in his video. You can look it up on YouTube, where this needs to stop. That's what it's called. That's all it's called. This needs to stop. So he makes that announcement. It's like about 30-minute long video. He does not give names about who he's calling out with all of this. He does not give any names. But the Daily Wire's response to it seems to be clearly implying that Crowder was targeting them with this with Stop Big Con. You know, it's kind of a catchphrase. You know, conservative media, con media. He's calling this the biggest con in America. That there are people, he calls them people. There are people who claim to be conservatives, but they're not on your side, and all they want is a lot of money and make big money with, you know, what a lot of people are coining the phrase now. It's not a new phrase. It's like controlled opposition. You know, and Crowder's whole thing is. And it turns out it is the Blaze. Not the Blaze, the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire is what he was talking about. That apparently he was negotiating with Daily Wire and sees the contract, the potential contract anyway. I don't know exactly how all the stuff works. And he starts calling issue with it. And basically Crowder's issue is that the Daily Wire will own his content, and Crowder is beholden to them to produce content on a daily basis. So Crowder becomes an employee, you know, essentially. He no longer really owns his stuff. He becomes an employee, and he's under contractual obligation to produce content on a daily basis. If he doesn't, he's penalized. If he's demonetized from YouTube, in other words, he doesn't follow the guidelines, their community guidelines, then he's going to be penalized. Because if he gets demonetized, he gets penalized, and all the stuff like that. So there's a lot to it. You can watch the video, whatever. It's going to take you 30 minutes, you know, but you can go watch it for yourself. I'm just giving you the rundown of it. And so the Daily Wire, so Crowder sees this, and see, this is what I think is really important. Let me just say this real quick here, because I've already got comments from my post about this, from people saying, you know, well, Crowder, blah, 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 blah. Well, the Daily Wire, blah, 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 blah. I'm not getting all up in the Daily Wire, but a lot of people are just going after Crowder. But I've been watching the Quarterings live thing on this last night. I shouldn't have. It was a big waste of time, to be honest with you. I just have other things I should be doing. You know, that's really it. Writing, stuff like that. But so I watched that, and Quartering is reading live chats with Sydney Watson. She's joining him in the live thing, and there's people just on both sides, you know, saying Crowder just wants money, and he's just trying to start his own brand, and he's doing it by taking down the Daily Wire, you know, taking down his competition. And then there are other people saying, you know, well, the Daily Wire, they're just sellouts or cop-outs. They just want money, and they're trying to exploit Crowder and make him and put cuffs on him and blah, 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 blah. This, that, and the other thing. So, and I got a little bit of that on my post too. See, my thing here is, especially for us as Christians, okay? I know we're all guilty of this in some level, in some shape or form. But one of the things that I do my best not to do, that is so important for us as Christians not to do, is we cannot provoke or project motives on people without clear evidence, without clear statements from them saying these things. We can't. I can't do that. You know, I've constantly, when I get in when I've had my debates with oneness Pentecostals and all the cultists, when they go after the Council of Nicaea, they were just doing this, they were just doing that. My criticism for them is you have no evidence for that. There is no evidence to support that kind of contention at all. And I'd be a hypocrite if I just turn right around on this and go, well, that's the Daily Wire. I mean, I'm personally more sympathetic towards Crowder, okay? But if I just said, Daily Wire, they're just being sellouts, and I've done that already, and I need to repent of that. That they're just blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. I'm guilty of that very same thing. I'm projecting motives because I'm taking sides here. I'm taking sides in a situation that simply is not black and white, and we're treating it as black and white. And when we do that, guys, this is what creates. See, this is what you have the Ben Shapiro already going after Crowder, and again, it's really not factually based. Ben Shapiro's accusing Crowder of just being he just wants money, and he doesn't, and he's attacking Ben's friend, and he's attacking his own friend, he's destroying bridges because all Crowder wants is money. That's what Ben Shapiro's doing, and I'm not surprised Ben Shapiro does stuff like that. Ben Shapiro, I've never been a big fan of Ben Shapiro. I really cannot stand his foreign policy stance. It just creates more wars and just kills more people on both sides. But of course, how can you blame him? Ben Shapiro's, he's a Jew, and so of course he's going to support Israel. And he's going to support blowing up anything that threatens Israel. There's a level of sympathy for that. I think there's better ways we can solve the issue, but I digress on that point. But the point is that Ben Shapiro, I've seen him do this stuff before. He just kind of, when he sees a real threat, he rarely responds, and it looks like composure, but it's really not. Everybody has their own unique ways of melting down, as it were. And I think I've seen that in Ben Shapiro plenty of times, where somebody really got on his nerves, and instead of taking time to calm down and just let it go, I've seen Ben Shapiro have his own little meltdowns and starts accusing this person of this, that, and the other thing. It says all this stuff like that. Again, he takes it personally, and I think the same situation has happened here. Ben took it personally, and I get it. I understand it. He took it personally. Looks like the gates aren't working. I can't get into my place. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see this here. That one works. All right, that gate didn't work. Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead first. I'm sorry, guys. I'm driving, trying to be courteous to folks, and at the same time, and dealing with things. All right, so anyways, so Ben Shapiro, his reaction is not unusual. Ben Shapiro is very clearly right-wing, and I just think that Ben Shapiro responds, let's say it this way, his response to the left is not healthy for anybody. Ben Shapiro is kind of into the, right versus left thing, and he perpetuates that. He just does. And I think that's what destroys the unity of this country. It's what creates opposition. The same thing with the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. You can go in there and say, well, we're doing this because we were attacked by this guy, but then you just blow up towns and whatever, and kill a lot of people with drone strikes and stuff like that. I don't care how just you may think you are. You just flatly don't care about the people there. And how do you expect those people to view that? They view that as an oppression, and they're going to retaliate. It just creates more problems doing this stuff. Simply just blowing up and throwing hand grenades into the mix is what makes the problem worse. And that's what Ben Shapiro did, and so it just makes it worse. And I think that's what we do, and that's how we make it worse when we reply in the same manner. When we just go, Crowder's just being this, Daily Wire is just being that, and blah 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 blah. I'm trying to look at this as as objectively as I possibly can. And so the way I see it, and I think that Nathaniel Stricker gave, I think, the best, most balanced view of this. First, again, let me just reiterate. I don't want to impose motives. I think the Daily Wire has good intentions. They want to be an alternative media to the wokeness. Absolutely. I think guys like Ben Shapiro absolutely believe that. And Jeremy, what's his name? Boring? I don't know exactly his, I don't follow that guy. I just know he's doing this like razor thing. I don't really care. I'm not really a Daily Wire fan, to be honest with you. Not because I don't like them. I listen to some of their stuff and I agree with it, but I'm just not big on watching Daily Wire. Again, Ben Shapiro. I just got to say this. I just can't stand Ben Shapiro's voice. I really can't stand it. Sorry. Even though he says true things, but and also I'm not big on his Judaism. So I do think that they want to do what's right. I don't think that their business model and the way that they're doing it is the way to do it. I don't think that's how it works, and that's what Crowder's issue was. At the same time, the way Crowder handled this, I think, could have been avoided. He should have just said, hey guys, I don't really like this idea. I'm not big on this. I'm walking away from the deal, and that's it. And he could have just moved on and just gone on with Mug Club forever. Now it sounds like, based on Crowder's videos, we're not going to be getting any Louder with Crowder episodes anytime soon. What that means for his employees, I don't know. My thing was, Crowder, he should have just stayed with the Blaze until he had a clear path forward. Instead, he just announces he's leaving the Blaze and makes himself a free agent for anybody who wants to hire him. I don't understand. Crowder's big enough to start his own thing, and he's telling the Daily Wire he wants all these guys to do the same thing, and yet he won't do it. Again, I may be misunderstanding something. I don't know. Oh. Uh-oh. They got their dog loose. Their dog got loose. I feel like I should go try to help get him back. Yeah, I think they got him. I'm sorry about this, folks. I apologize. I just want to make sure that everything's okay. Looks like they got him. Hold on. really sorry about that, guys. I'm really sorry about that. All right, so so yeah, you know, those are my thoughts on the whole thing, and this could have been handled better. We should not, guys. Let's try to remember, you know, we need to be better than this. We need to not just be like, it's Crowder's just being a blah blah blah, Daily Wire's being a blah 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 blah. They just have different views on how to do this. Again, I agree with Crowder. I agree with Crowder mostly, but he should have just let it go and say, hey, you know, this is the way they see this. I don't agree with that, and that's it. And just go on and do his own thing. He could have done that. So, anyways, you're probably all now wondering what just happened. Why did Chase just suddenly disappear like that? Well, I have these neighbors, and so now I got to explain this, right? Because I'm not going to edit this video. I have these neighbors who, I guess they babysit this dog. It's a husky, and I'm making my video there. Ooh, it's warm in here. And the dog got out, I guess. Dog's running around. It's obviously a very young dog. Running around. Let me get my lunch started here. I'll just talk. You don't need to see me, right? So my ugly face. Dog. I'm there making my video, and there's the dog running around my truck, and it knows the truck's running, so it knows there's somebody inside it. It's just a very happy dog, and I've seen it a couple times. Again, young, so it's got a lot of energy. I know the kids are coming out and running after her, and so I was like, oh man, should I do something, you know? And I just, you know, it looked like they had her, but it doesn't seem like they know too much about how to care for a dog. So they chased after her. I made these mistakes with our old dog, Casey. I made these mistakes with her. When she got out, she would just take off. So we would run after her, and she would go pretty far, and we'd finally get her. She'd finally get her, blow off all her energy, and then she'd just stop and come back. But I've learned a lot about dogs since then. So, and I told them, I just told them down there after I got her, she just came right towards me. They're running after her. They're just charging after, flying down the road after her, and all the dog's doing is just running faster. And I told them, because I could tell she's just a wonderful dog, very happy dog, you know, not vicious or mean or anything like that. And I told him when I was petting her and everything like that, I said, the reason why she's doing that, the reason why she's running that fast is because you're running after her. She thinks you're playing, and so she's just going to keep going. You have to give her a reason to come towards you and be like, hey, hi, you know. She wants attention, you know, and you running after her gives her attention, but also you just kind of, you know, acting like you maybe have a treat or something like that. She's like, oh, I want a treat. So she's going to come after you. She's going to come towards you based on that. So there's a level of like confidence that you have to sort of have with handling dogs. So anyways, I got the dog for them and just helped them, you know, get her upstairs, make sure she got inside so she didn't run away or anything like that. Anyways, so that was just happened. Okay, so I apologize for that, guys. I really do. But there's my thoughts on the Crowder situation, and just the recap of it. It's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate because this is going Daily Wire and the Blaze, and not the Blaze, Crowder. They had such a close relationship. To see this happen is not going to bode well for their followers either, because you got people who are supportive of Crowder going, I'm canceling my Daily Wire subscription, so they're going to take a hit. Crowder has also, whether he likes it or not, he's betrayed their trust by recording that phone call with Jeremy. Not a good move. Shouldn't have done that. It would have been so much better if he just went, not my thing, and just left. And I think maybe Crowder's justification for it is that he thinks that they're scamming a lot of young content creators, probably people like Brett Cooper, who's made a response apparently on Instagram, but I don't have Instagram, so I haven't watched it. I don't do that stuff. Not interested in that. But so, you know, I think Crowder's he's trying, not he thinks, in his view, he's sticking up for the little guy, the young person who's coming up, who's got great talent, like someone like Brett Cooper, who's probably like what, 21 years old, and he's helping her or people like her out. She gave a response, and I don't know what the response is, but I'm pretty sure she's going to be siding with the Daily Wire because she's signed to the Daily Wire. But that's the way Crowder sees it. So maybe that's what prompted him to do this, is that he's trying to tell young creators coming up, don't sign over to this stuff. Don't do this, because he's genuinely sympathetic towards that. And then maybe that's why he did it. But as good of a reason as that might be, doesn't mean our particular responses to it are justified. Because now this is blown wide open, and I think it's just going to get uglier and uglier. It's not going to be good for any of us. So, anyways, those are my thoughts on it. And I'll be honest here, real quick. As somebody who likes to make videos about topics, I don't really have time to. I don't get paid for it, so I don't have time to dedicate to making videos every single day. I'm also very slow talker, so naturally I know people aren't really all that interested in my commentary because mine may be a little boring. It really makes me second guess all this stuff. I mean, honestly, I'll be honest with you. Thinking about my own story writing and how I'd like to get it to get bigger and stuff. I'm like, you know, if all of this baggage comes with it, I'm not a businessman. I'm not business savvy, which maybe I shouldn't say that in public because then people are going to take advantage of me. But I don't really care for it, to be honest with you. I just want to make meaningful content. I want to make meaningful stories. It's just all I want to do. I don't care really about the money. I know a lot of people say that, but to me, it's not really about the money. It's about doing what's right and glorifying God in all of it. Everything that you do is to glorify God. That's, to me, the most important thing. And so for me, it's like, would I sign contracts that would promote my stuff? Sure. You know, that would get it out there. But again, my prayer is that my heart, at least most of my heart, I don't know sometimes, that its true desire is to see God be glorified in the work that I've put out, and that it would have cultural effects. That's what I want. That's really all I want. That's what I like to think that I want anyway. You know, I don't know. I've never been in these situations before, but it does make me wonder, and it makes me go, do I really want this? Do I really want this to happen? I mean, I don't want this. What's going on with Crowder and the Daily Wire? All this business stuff. I don't need that stuff. I mean, it gets me into thoughts about corporatism and stuff like that, you know. But that's another subject. So anyways, I gotta go, guys. I gotta eat lunch because I am at lunch right now. So God bless. Bye.